Welcome back to the Hoosier News, where we talk everything Canada soccer and U.S. soccer. Today we're going to be doing a recap of the 2020 Olympic Games bronze medal match between the USA and Australia. In this one, the USA would take a narrow 4-3 win over Australia, as Australia would have a late comeback, but it wouldn't be enough. And we're going to go right into this and go into the starting lineups, where in the keep we have Adriana Franch with Crystal Dunn, Tiana Davison, Becky Sauerbrunn, and Kelly O'Hara on your back four. By the way, they play a 4-3-3. And then your three in the middle, you have Lindsey Horan, Julia Ertz, and Sam Ewis. And then your three up top, you have Megan Rapinoe, Carly Lloyd, and Christian Perez. We go to the the goal summaries. Remember, as for the Olympics games, I try and keep these short, so I'm only going to be talking about the goals and not the misses or the chances, just to keep these short, and as well as talk about one thing at the end. And so this is my final U.S. video in terms of the Olympics since they won the finals, or won their bronze medal match. And then, of course, the last video is going to be the Canadian Olympic medal match between Sweden and Canada. And they pushed that game back, by the way, to tomorrow, tomorrow morning. Once again in the morning for Eastern time zone. So, unfortunately, I thought I was going to be able to see that one because it was originally scheduled for 10 p.m. Eastern time, but stuff happens. And unfortunately, I'm just going to have to once again wake up to the score and find out who won and do a video on that. So, but without further ado, we go to the 8th minute where Megan Rapinoe strikes an Olympic goal from a corner kick and it goes in. How does she do this every time? She did it in the 2012 Olympics in London against Canada in the semifinals, and now she does it against Australia in the bronze medal match. I don't know how she does it. It's so hard to score goals from corners. I mean, she's just a monster of her own from doing this. It's 1-0 USA. Oh my. But then the 17th minute, Davidson for Australia has the ball for Australia. She passes it to Kerr. She strikes it with her left foot, and it goes past Adriana Franch. And Franch got a hand on it, but poor job. She couldn't keep it out completely, and it's 1-1. Still tied game. And the 21st minute, Australia has a terrible mistake and can't clear it all the way. And it found its way to guess who? No other than Megan Rapinoe. She buries it, volleys it in actually, 2-1 USA. And Australia just basically gives this goal right back. You know, a defensive mistake just kills the momentum that they had. They scored on the USA, and then they just give it back off. Most of their goals they score in this, or the USA scored, comes from turnovers and poor defensive mistakes from the Australians. But we go to the 45th +1, so first minute of stoppage time. Carly Lloyd gets a beautiful through ball and scores. Poor marking from Australia. They couldn't see it coming. That's her first goal of the Olympics. It's 3-1 USA right before the half. And what a horrible time to concede for Australia right before the half. As 2-1, going into halftime 2-1 would have been way better than going 3-1. As now 3-1 is a different ball game, you know. Then hopefully let's see if Australia makes some adjustments. And 51st minute, it looks like Australia does have an adjustment. They have they don't. They have a poor adjustment actually. Australia has a defensive mistake as Carly Lloyd pounces on it and slots it in past the Australian keeper. 4-1. Australia still came out caught lacking. Well, gotta find a grip. But in the 54th minute, Australia does pull one back as they send a beautiful cross in to Caitlin Ford. She heads it past Adriana Franch. 4-2 USA, although is there a comeback for Australia? Let's see. 90th minute now. Australia has the ball in the final third. I think sorry if I'm pronouncing this wrong, but Glignick decides to have a long distance strike, but she scores. 4-3 now. USA still up by 1, but Australia are right there knocking on the door. But unfortunately for them, time's up. And in the match, USA will settle for their first bronze medal match in the Olympics ever. And unfortunately for them, as I said in the last video against Canada, they won't be able to be the first to get that title, win the World Cup, and then turn around and win the Olympics. That's going to have to wait for someone else to do it if they can't do it. But they will have to settle for the bronze. And I guess at this point, the way things will be going for the U.S. women, they'll take it. You know, slow start against Sweden and then a rough start, crash out against Canada. You know, at this point, they're happy to take any medal, as this is a rough Olympics for them. But before we go deeper, I want to talk about the stats and then 19 shots to 13. USA outshot Australia, 19 shots. And then out of the 19 shots, the USA had 9 of those were on target, while 4 of the 13 for Australia were on target. Adriana France only had 1 save this game, while Australia had 5. So, I mean, I know USA women had their second or third string keeper here. As remember, the starting keeper, Lisanera, was injured in the Canada match, which ultimately led to the downfall, or one could argue the downfall of their loss against Canada. But it is what it is. I said, no excuses. You gotta find what you gotta use the players, what you got in front of you. Gotta get the job done no matter what. And unfortunately for them in that game, they did not get it done. But in this game, they somehow still get it done with their second or third string keeper. But corner kicks, USA has 3. Well, both teams have 3 apiece. Fouls, so USA has 11. Australia has 8, and 1 offside apiece. Now we don't have any misconduct summaries as well, so good for either side. But for me, this game, the burning question still remains. And that burning question is, has the USA women at least lost their intimidation factor? Because we're still, I mean, this game still, I know they got bronze, but for me still, I mean, can they really be happy? Can we really be happy with this result? But, you know, after getting beat by Canada and then starting off slow against Sweden, right? 3-0, the way Sweden embarrassed them. And Canada just finding a way to edge the USA out in the semifinal. You know, can we still believe that the USA is still kind of scary? Or is it just lost their intimidation factor? You know, passing of the torch, as I said in the Canadian video. Just like Belgium. You know, we saw in the 2020 Euros this summer that Belgium crashed out against Italy. You know, they didn't really play all that well. And, you know, that's what the announcer said. Could we be seeing the passing of the torch for them as well? Just like the USA women here. The passing of the torch, so I think either Sweden deserves to be higher in terms of FIFA rankings. Canada deserves to be up there. You know, Australia always puts up a good fight. You know, the USA has struggled with this Olympics for the most part. You know, their games have been gritty and not the blowout kind that we're used to seeing or anticipated, especially against Canada. You know, Canada really gave them a hard time this Olympics, and Sweden just ran all over them. So, can we really say that the USA are really still scary, or are other teams getting better? Or what you guys, please have a say on that. You know, feel free to comment in the description below. Leave your opinion on it, and tell me if you think that the USA is just no longer scary, or, you know, other teams are just catching up, or both. You know, could it be both? Either way, the USA is losing. It feels like they are losing their edge and dominance. So we'll see what changes Vlatko Ananansky and the U.S. Federation does for the women's side. While, as I said earlier, the men's side looks like they're getting better. So one team's going up and one team seems to be going down, as I said. So either way, the USA women have to find out what's going on and regroup. You know, although I think now, as I said, they're going to accept this bronze medal, but in the future, going forward, they're probably going to look back at it and go, man, we should have played better against Sweden. Man, we should have played better against Canada. You know, we could have had a chance. But it is what it is. You know, you can't go change the past. You just got to play with what you got. And accept it, move on. You got bronze, you got a medal. Better than getting no medal. So you did get a medal. Take that, be happy, reflect, and then you can go wait and criticize what you need. But yeah, that pretty much does it for this video. USA has to settle for bronze, and that's it. You know, that was the final U.S. women's video for a while, I think, that I'm going to make, unless they have friendlies coming up. But if you do like this video, make sure you like, share, subscribe it. Tell all your friends, and also tell all your friends that the USA women are not getting the gold, but they are going to have to settle for bronze.